Hello, everyone. Great to be with you again. Before President Trump's executive order requiring all federal workers in the US to return to office-based working, over 1.1 million American workers had the opportunity of either working hybrid or remote or working from home. Now, other countries are beginning to try to do the same thing. And the big question some people are asking is, what's the environmental implication of everybody working from the office? Is it really as bad as some say it is? We will be looking at the scientific perspective, looking at some evidence, some research evidence to discuss this. But just to lay the foundation, now, before COVID, it would in some quarters be absolute madness to be talking about people working from home. It was more like a requirement for everyone to be in some form of office setting at every time. And just to put it in context and to balance, just to provide some balance, there are some areas of work that would never be able to work from home or hybrid or remote. For instance, doctors will always have to go to hospitals. Nurses will always have to go to hospitals. Teachers, in most cases, might have to always go to the class. There could be opportunities for some online learning. We're not quite there yet, but that's an option that is feasible. But some things can absolutely be done from home. And there are three options here. So it could be a scenario where people work from home, from their house. So that's working from home. There could be the remote option where people could work from anywhere. So it could be colleagues coming together at a cafe or a library close by, just to reduce the commute time or make it more convenient for people. Or it could even be from working from your home, but remote doesn't specifically say it has to be from your house. Then there's a hybrid option where people are able to come to the office maybe once or twice a week and then spend the rest of the time working from home or working remotely. But the long and short of what I'm saying is, post-COVID, people have tried remote, hybrid, or working from home options, and there's research evidence to show that actually, for most people, productivity has increased with remote, hybrid, or working from home. For instance, there's the 2023 PwC survey that found that 68% of executives believe that hybrid working improved employee retention and also improved productivity. So people were willing to stay longer on a specific job, and productivity also increased. Another study by Stanford University found that working from home led to a 13% increase in productivity among the employees. And the study actually attributed this to maybe reduced distraction, a more organized and quiet and familiar environment, reduced commute time. Now, I have been working hybrid for a while now. And just to help you understand how much time you might be able to save, if I was to go to the office every day, I would most times have to leave my house as early as 6:30 a.m. to be able to get to office maybe by 9. However, on days that I'm working from home, I could actually just get out of my bed by, say, 8 o'clock, take a shower, and be set before 9. And oftentimes, because I'm not thinking about commutes back to my house, I hardly log off at 5 p.m., which is the usual time that I should log off. So it allows me to spend some more time on my computer. Now, for most people that I have spoken to, and from my personal experience, it does more harm to individuals working from home because, one, your mental health to an extent benefits from the social interactions. We are social animals, right? That interaction you have in office space oftentimes has some positive effect on your mental health. It also helps you to unwind a bit more. So a lot of people report burnout and stress when working from home. I, for one, I end up putting in more hours than I do when I go to the office, So it is easy to see the relationship between increased productivity and working hybrid or working from home or working remote. There's a Bloomberg research that shows that remote workers actually work a lot longer than those who go to the office. And it's no surprise that Google, Microsoft, Salesforce have all adopted hybrid approach to working because it actually works. Now, I'm not here to tell you all about that. I'm just trying to use that to set the foundation. As I'm sure you know, my interest is the environmental impact of working from home. So let's break a typical day of either working from home or going to the office. Research has shown that working from home would reduce your carbon emission by approximately 54%. And I mean, that should be easy to see. Most people, when they travel to work, you have to travel at rush hour. The carbon emission at rush hour is often higher than it is when the road is smooth. So everybody rushing to get to work at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. means that it is usually rush hour, heavy traffic, a lot of emission for those who drive. Those who live in fairly urban areas could use public transport. Now, that comes with some emission too. So that's one aspect of carbon emission. The second aspect is when people are gathered in the office, oftentimes the facilities have to be heated, more usage of water. Research has also shown that when people go to the office, they end up using more energy, and so that's more emission. And so when you work from your house, oftentimes commute is cut out, so that emission in commute would be removed from the equation. However, research has also found that when people are working from home, they end up engaging in short commutes to the store, dropping the kids here and there. And in some cases, people end up owning more than one car. And so there's that element that could push up emission. But on the average, it's been calculated and we've seen that actually working from home would reduce your emission by approximately 54%. And then hybrid could reduce it to between 11 and 29%, depending on how often you go to the office. So in all, we can say that forcing and insisting on people coming back to the office would not have a net positive effect on the environment. But if we flip it the other way, you tend to understand why some of these people are insisting that people should go back to the office. When people go back to the office, for instance, some organizations already have structures they have to pay for. They pay council bill, they pay all sorts of bill, they've built the facility, and those facilities have to be used. So one understands that they would, to an extent, insist on people going to the office. The economy also suffers when people don't go to the office. I think research has also backed that. Every day people go out, you get to spend buying coffee, spending here and there, spending on public transport. And so that keeps the system going. And so I wouldn't think that it's fair to say one is bad and one is completely good. And that's why at this point I'm going to invite you to tell me what you think about remote working, hybrid working, or working from home, or going to the office. For me, like I said, I would prefer the hybrid option because working constantly from home has not been really good on my health, my mental health, my physique. Sometimes I work all day and then I realized my waist is on fire because typically in the office, you would engage with someone, you would meet a colleague, you do some work together, maybe standing or, by the coffee spot or something. At home, you don't have all of that luxury. You're mostly sat doing the work. And so I find it tells on my body a bit more. It takes its toll on my body a bit more. And so I don't think it is possible for us to say one is bad or one is good. But from an environmental point of view, the numbers are clear. Less emission if people work from home and people work hybrid. But please let me know what you think about remote working, what your experience is. Do you end up spending more time on short commutes and thereby increasing your emission, or do you find it's actually your experience agrees with what the research shows? So for those countries who think where America takes the lead, we all have to follow. I think we need to pause a bit and try to really understand what the importance of going to the office is. If it's about productivity, research has shown that actually productivity would increase when people are allowed to work flexible. There's also an aspect that we often forget. When people take jobs, they take into consideration things like commute, buying a house, children's school, and to suddenly change the entire discussion and say they all have to go to the office. For some people, it's like you're uprooting their entire life and telling them to shift and then do something completely different. Maybe it will require moving to a different city, selling a property, buying a new one, changing children's school. It's a huge decision for some people to make. And for some people, you would lose skills, you would lose people in jobs, because some people just wouldn't be bothered to make those sacrifice for any job. They would rather look for something else. And so it's a huge debate, and I'd like to invite you into the debate to see what you think. But for now, thank you for watching, and catch you again soon.